Welcome back here to Sports Wrap with the great voice of the Great Lakes 760 WJR. And the Big Ten 50 WTKA in Ann Arbor.
AB, who we just was blessed in the room with.
I mean, we thought it was going to be Mr. 300, but it's in fact Kingpin.
This man say he made a lot of money.
He is the John Elway of the bowling alley.
So he said it was Dave Kingpin Rieger. So that's how he's known. I mean, all those names. You just can't say Kingpin. You have to go Dave Kingpin Rieger.
It's for the whole Tri-County area. Covers all of it. Real quick, by the way, Yankees' Aaron Boone agreed to a 2-year contract extension, so they're going to extend him, and we'll get to the Donald. He called Team USA. It's a big game. It's really huge. I wish we had Mitch Albom's guy here to call us and tell us all about it.
Oh, that would be great.
Team USA versus Canada gave the team a call, and loser pays taxes.
Wow.
Too much? Too soon?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that a little bit later on.
Too much.
All right, so we got Michigan versus Michigan State tomorrow night inside Crisler Center. It is part 1. It is number 14 Michigan State against number 12 Michigan. The green and white against the maize and blue. Michigan State at 21-5 overall. Michigan at 20-5. Michigan State 12-3 in the Big Ten Conference. Michigan 12-2. Michigan at number 1 in the Big Ten Conference. Michigan State at number 2, just a half game behind the biggest game of the season. We couldn't ask for anything more. We're going to be there, which means if you listen to us, you are going to be there inside Crisler Center tomorrow night starting at 6 o'clock with an 8 p.m. tip-off. Lomas Brown's first ever trip inside Crisler.
Excited, very excited. Heard about Crisler, walked past Crisler, looked at it from a distance, AB. Now I get a chance to enter Crisler.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Yes.
Now, this is a massive matchup when you think about historically as well. If you go back to John Beilein, and trying to coach Izzo talked about this in his media availability yesterday. He also talked about it with Mitch Albom shortly before as he was hopping onto the bus to make the trip over to Ann Arbor. Beilein said it, the teams are better. Like when the teams are better, the rivalry is better. John Beilein got it back to that point. Now the Wolverines lead the all-time series 104-90, according to Michigan statistics. But since MSU was added to the Big Ten in 1950, the Spartans hold a 73-66 edge. It's even more lopsided in the green and white's favor, 31-16 since the turn of the century. In recent years, Michigan State leads just 14-13 since 2011.
But AB,
yes, sir.
I say throw all that out the window. Because because AB, I'm looking at this. So look, points per game.
I gotta go get that.
He actually threw it and tried to throw it out the window, but it didn't go. But AB, listen to some of the points per game. Michigan State 79, Michigan 81. Points against Michigan State 67 points against 71 for Michigan. Rebounds per game, 36-35. Assists per game, 17-16. Blocks per game, 4.9 to 4.1. And even steals, 5.1 to 5.8. AB, these teams are almost identical if you look at them stat-wise. So that's why I said throw everything out. Throw all the past stuff out because this seems like on paper that this is going to be a great matchup, and it's going to come down to – it seems like it's going to come down to the end, like most of these games do, especially games that involve Michigan State. But it seemed like maybe –
games that involve Michigan.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. So we know we're going to look at something coming down. And, AB, when it comes down to the being at the point where it's a close game, it could be a play or two that can turn that game. So that's what we're going to have to look at, what's going to be the monumental plays to turn that game.
What if I told you the Michigan Wolverines go into this game with 5 losses on the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 of those 5 losses are by a total of 8 points. You had the whatever that was in Minnesota, the half-court shot at the horn in overtime that beat them. You lost to Oklahoma by 1. You lost to Arkansas by 2. You lost to Wake Forest by 2. And the outlier is that first Purdue game. That thing was over in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
A 27-point loss. Outside of that, one thing about Michigan is they'll play a closely contested game, and it's going to be back and forth. They're going to go on a run. They're going to give up a big run. But I think maybe what might be most entertaining about this is the home court advantage here, right? I mean, college basketball is so unique in that. All it takes is a little bit. We saw it earlier in the week with Michigan State, and that tremendous defense that their guards, especially Trey Holloman, played on what is the best point guard in the country, and Braden Smith out of Purdue. Mm-hmm. They were in his shorts the entire game.
Had to be.
And it was incredible to watch. In one dunk from Cohen Carr, next thing you know, tied the game up.
Yep.
The energy was there. People were involved. They were in it. It was beautiful. But that's the sport of college hoops.
And that dunk, right, started a run for them, right,
Mm-hmm.
AB? I mean, they went on a great run over there, and that's what you say. So that's where, AB, if I look at the advantage, I'm going to look at the venue where we're playing at Crisler Arena. You know, again, if you get that monumental dunk, that block, that steal, whatever, you know, that three-pointer to ignite the crowd and get them behind you, then that can go a long ways towards helping you win that game. So, yeah, I think the venue's going to play just as big a part as the players out there on the field, on the court.
One of the other major concerns for me, and it's been a little bit better in recent games, is Michigan and the turnovers.
Yeah.
Right. You cannot give away possessions. I was watching. Did you watch any of our homework assignment, The Court of Gold, last night?
No, I'm sorry, AB. I mean,
how?
I'm sorry.
You know what? The teachers would say.
I know.
You get one of those.
Hey, the dog ate my homework.
The dog ate your Netflix.
Yeah,
wow.
he ate my homework.
That's a hungry dog right there. But Steve Kerr was talking about in episode 1 of the docuseries about the way that if they get a bucket, where they can get into from a passing lane standpoint to try to steal 1, 2, or 3 possessions in a game. And I heard that, and all I could think about was tomorrow night in Crisler Center. You must take care of the basketball. Possessions matter, and the stakes could not be higher.
Yeah. Oh, this is basically, right, we're talking first place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least for
whether
for
a couple
tie,
days.
yeah, or whatever. But you're talking, and we're getting towards the end of the season. So now, again, these games become that much more important when you start talking about seeding, where you're going to be at in the Big Ten tournament, and then where you'll be seeded at for the NCAA tournament.
Michigan has 6 games remaining, including this basketball games. Michigan State with just 5 games remaining because they had that short. They had the Saturday game, the win at Illinois, the Tuesday game, the win against Purdue, and now this game here on Friday against Michigan. So it's been jam-packed here to play 3 games in under a week. Will fatigue be a factor?
They're young, AB. They're young.
Okay.
They're young.
I can dig it.
All right.
I'm perfectly
no load management in college.
No, you start talking about that, you're gonna find you're gonna be out of a job. Coach Izzo is gonna send you right off the.
You're
the
right.
End of his
he
foot.
Sure would.
He's not putting up with that.
You're
There's
right.
not gonna be any of that madness there. But it will be one of those special games, in my opinion, because you look at Coach Izzo coming off of win 354. You look at the monstrous win against Purdue and where they were at, especially after Michigan State was reeling there, losing 3 out of 4. You look at what's at stake, the 2 teams, the history, the rivalry, Dusty May in year number 1. You got, the rivalry matchup against Ohio State. You took care of business there on the road, so that felt good in your first rivalry game. But that's the rival in football. Michigan State is the rival in hoops.
Yeah, the newcomer coming in, Dusty May, going against the king of the Big Ten that's been there for years, decades that been there, Tom Izzo. Is there a new sheriff in town? Or is the old marshal still the man that's running this territory around here?
Whoa, I mean, you should be writing for somebody.
I got it. Let me put that down. See what the cameras do to us, AB.
I don't know. I'm glad I'm seated because I would have fallen over after listening to that. I'm ready for an OK Corral right now. Oh, we're ready to go. Lomas Brown's got me feeling like I'm in a Western.
Hey, look, and I know you got the manpower and the firepower, too. I know that for a fact.
Well, now that we're all juiced up. But I do it is a very unique situation, especially if this game delivers us anything close to a classic, right? Let this thing come down to the final couple possessions. And please, guys in stripes, if you're watching, if you can hear me, Stay out of the way.
Yeah, leave it alone.
We don't need 17 replays. We don't need to clog the game up by getting these teams in the bonus early. Let's not make this a free throw competition. Let's let the players play. Let's let the players decide the outcome of this game.
So, AB, you know what I'm excited about? Who's going to be in the crowd, too? Alumnus.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that.
Jalen will be there.
Yeah, think about that. Chris
Jimmy King.
Hopefully Chris will be there. You know, because Chris is in the area.
He might dabble.
He's in the area, you know. And then does the enemy normally bring in alumni? Will Michigan State have alumnus there?
I'm sure there'll be some former players that are hanging out, trotting around.
Okay.
They do bring a really good crowd.
Yeah.
They get a couple sections in the upper deck, and then they've got some pockets of some fans that got some lower bowl tickets.
And you know they could bring the alumnus. Now, if all 6-8 of them walk up in there, man, there's the Magic man. Come on now, AB.
That would be a lot.
That would be
a lot.
That would be sending
I'm sure he's
a message.
got something going on in
Probably
LA.
does.
Yeah.
But that would send a message how big this game is, which I think this is a huge game.
He might hit you with it. I ain't going to be there. You know? Sorry.
Well, you know, he's flying. He got private jets. So, bam.
If he could be in and out.
There you go.
You know, Mateen Cleaves.
Just saying.
Pete.
My guy.
Drew Neitzel.
There it is.
Call me back, brother.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's get after it a little bit.
There
could be some of those famous alumni.
Yeah.
And if it is a tight one, for those fans that this game is paramount to them, this will be one of those where were you when type of games. That's the type of potential this matchup has. Let's step aside when we return. Four Nations Face-Off upcoming tonight. Appointment television at 8 o'clock, plus the Red Wings on the other side of the break. We'll talk to Keith Gave about that next here on Sports Wrap.